Birds of Prey number 6, written by Dwayne Swierczynski, art by Javier Pina. We left off last issue with Starling being misdirected from a group meeting because of probably some memory stuff, and she was shot at and dived over a bridge and then thought that Black Canary may have betrayed her. This issue doesn't deal with that, like literally at all. I am so confused by this issue because I genuinely thought I missed something. Like, this is just completely separate. So we pick up with a guy named Brendan Bowman, who he's feeling great. He's got a good mood, and he's super happy. He's going to the coffee shop. He sees a blonde who's checking him out, and he's like, oh, maybe I can leave my number or whatever. And as he reaches for his phone, he sees that it has been stolen, and we see that Starling is the one who stole it. She runs out the coffee shop, and Brendan gives chase. Finally, they confront her, and we see that the blonde who was sitting there at the counter checking him out was actually Black Canary. And so he's cornered, and he's freaking out. She's like, oh no, is there some like all-female mugging ring going on? Where's Batman when you need him? So immediately Black Canary and Starling are like, hey, take it easy, we'll explain on the way. But Brendan just sprints out of there. He's not willing to go with them, and he runs back to his office where he was previously working. Black Canary calls Katana, says that she's up, which again, is she? But as he goes back to his computer, he's like, he knows he should call the police, but apparently he's addicted to what I can only assume is their version of Twitter. And so he posts a tweet saying like, guys, this crazy thing happened, whatever. But then as he's on it, he starts getting a message from somebody who is doing the nursery rhyme thing, aka to trigger him the same way everyone else has. And then we see 40 minutes later, they're in a tunnel underneath Gotham. He's down in his underwear, and Katana's about to stab him with a syringe. He comes to, he freaks out, knocks the syringe out of her hand. And then Poison Ivy comes up to help restrain him. And as she is doing so, Batgirl enters the scene, and he's like, oh, thank God, Batgirl. He's Poison Ivy, I know, is a terrorist. Katana was going to stab me with a syringe. You got to help me. And Batgirl's like, oh, don't worry, Mr. Hill. Take the syringe. And she hits him with the syringe. Now, mind you, his name at the beginning was Brendan Bowman, but they just called him Mr. Hill. They don't reference the fact that his last name changed here ever again. Supposedly, according to the DC fan wiki, this is like, it was all part of his mental thing of them messing with his memory of changing his entire last name. But to me, that seems like that doesn't make any goddamn sense, because the whole point is that they're just trying to change people like into these sort of sleeper agents. Like, what would be the point in changing his last name to Bowman? Like, wouldn't that make it harder because you'd have to come up with a whole fake identity? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but it really threw me for a loop there because they made sure to give his first and last name and then forgot it by this page. Regardless, he wakes up sometime later, and everyone's in costume. Black Canary's there, and basically they just give him the rundown of, hey, here's everything that's happening. We've managed to track down all these people who are working for Choke, and you guys are called cleaners, and you actually were the one who, like, kissed me back at the first issue in order to prime me to be a bomb. So consider us even, that I'm saving your life now, or whatever it is. And apparently the whole way that it works is that in order for the trade-off for the drug to be, like, I guess, fair, despite the fact that I don't think they're aware of it, period, it gives, like, heightened senses, and they feel great. They always have up endorphins or whatever. But they were all chosen because they're people who are always primed to, like, answer their cell phone or check their email, or, like, they can always be primed to turn into a sleeper agent whenever they're needed. And then they go to the place where the armor is kept, they put it on, and then they go out and do whatever Choke needs them to do. And Brandon is confused, and he doesn't think it's possible, but once they explain some more, he's like, well, let me help. I want to help as much as I can. And Black Canary is like, no, you're too much of a liability. You could literally explode. And Starling's just chimes in like, he's diffused now. We put the fixie drugs in him, so maybe we should use him as, like, bait or something. And then Black Canary go with Starling, and we just covered that cliffhanger at the end of the last issue of Black Canary, or how Black Canary, like, did she betray Starling? Why did Starling go to a different location despite the fact it was written on her arm? And like we don't even get an explanation. It's just who, me, mad just because this sick ticket messed with my memories enough to lead me straight into a trap set by private mercenaries, all of whom are being offered buku, I don't even know that word, bucks to kill me on sight, no questions asked. And then we just see she got away. Like, whatever. And she figured out it wasn't Black Canary, I guess, and we just skipped over that whole, like, seriously, this was an entire issue just gone. So anyway, they say, all right, we'll use you, Brandon. You're going to be our bait. So they send him back into the office, and they tell him what to do. And just offhandedly, the doctor's there. What's his name? Trevor, I think. Yeah, Trevor Cahill. He's just there for some reason, keeping an eye on him through an iPad or whatever. And as he's sitting there trying to just act natural, wait for the next time he's called, all of his coworkers around start spouting off nursery rhymes. So they all are under Choke's control. So then Black Canary comes in, Poison Ivy's there, Katana's there, the whole gang's there, just knocking them out so that they don't kill Brandon because he's now found out, I suppose. And all of them in like synchronous or whatever just say like, oh, how much do you know about your team, Black Canary? And then we just get a single panel of like the primed fight scene, and then Black Canary says, to answer your question, I trust my team completely because we just caught you. So clearly she is confident of whatever just happened. I genuinely don't know what just happened. Like, I get what this issue is by itself, but like this just feels like we skipped like 3 issues somewhere in there. And somehow, in the same issue, he changed last names for no reason. I'm still confused by that bit. I don't get it. Okay, so all of that is really, really, really frustrating to me. The art is fine. It's nothing great. Javier Pina, I don't think, did any other issues so far, but it keeps in the same style. Like, it perfectly blends. But, like, again, what was this? Why did this? I don't understand what just happened. And this isn't a thing of, oh, they have memory loss or something. No, this is like, we explained what happened and I still don't get what happened. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4. And it's all because, like, this is beyond just, oh, memory loss. This is just bad writing at this point. And I genuinely, I'm not even sure where we're at right now. Like, and then why is Batgirl on there? I don't know. The more I talk, the more I find issues with it. And I'm fine with not showing the reader everything. But in a story that is so focused on, like, memory and blackouts and stuff like that, you need to at least give the reader enough to follow along. Like, it's like if you didn't see the entire, like, the black and white half of Memento. Like, yes, you would get the story, but then as soon as we got to the middle bit, you'd be like, what, that's it? It's just frustrating. I don't know. But yeah, I'm giving it a 4. I hope it gets better in this last issue of the arc, but I'm not sure right now.